Welcome to Bellwether Wealth's webinar series, Navigate Exit Planning with Confidence. In Season 1, Drive Your Business Like You're Going to Sell It, we're joined by John Fullwider, a business value growth advisor at Gear 80. For today's episode, we will have a season recap and discuss options for getting help with exit planning.
It's time for the first of 5 things that you've got to know to exit your business successfully. First, one goal, an immortal company. You care deeply about your employees, your customers, your suppliers, your community. When you create an immortal company, all 4 continue growing and thriving after you've exited the company. When you don't, they're at risk, and so are you and your family. An immortal company is 1, attractive to customers, 2, attractive to potential buyers, and 3, ready to be transitioned to new owners and or managers. I bet you've got number 1 dialed in. Before you watched this webinar series, you were probably like the 95% of business owners who think they've got number 2 as well. You thought your business was attractive to potential buyers. And through watching this webinar series, you've learned you were wrong. Sorry about that. Good news is that you learned how to fix that in this series. I'll remind you later where to find those fixes in our archive of past episodes. Before watching this webinar series, you probably hadn't thought much about number 3 either. Is my business ready to be transitioned to new owners and or managers? No worries, most business owners haven't thought much about that. In this webinar series, though, you learned your business almost certainly isn't ready to transition. Sorry about that again. And good news, you learned how to fix that too. And I'm going to remind you later where to find those fixes in our archive of past episodes. The second of 5 things you've got to know to exit your business successfully is that there's 2 lanes to drive: business improvement and life improvement. Think of them as a 2-lane highway headed toward your goal. The left lane is business improvement. The right lane is life improvement. Always be improving your business. Always be improving your life. You have created tremendous value for too many customers. You've signed too many personal guarantees. You've taken too many risks. You've lost too much sleep to settle for anything less. When you improve your business, you improve your life. When you improve your life, you improve your business. Always be improving both. Well, how do you know that you're improving your business and your life? I argue that you're improving both when you're increasing 5 freedoms: freedom to have more time, freedom to be in relationship only with people you genuinely like and who energize you, freedom to make as much money as you wish, freedom to have your purpose be fully expressed through your business, and finally, my favorite, freedom of location. So you can run this business or your later pursuits from anywhere. I dove deep into these 5 freedoms in episode 11, Selling to Insiders. And I gave you 2 worksheets. One is on the screen here. It describes the 5 freedoms and asks you to assess how much freedom of each type you have right now. We're posting a link to that worksheet in the chat. In episode 11, I gave you a second worksheet called Rating Your Exit Options. It was there to help you keep track of and rate your exit options as we ran through them in the last few episodes. All 10 exit options covered in this series are down the left side. And then across the top are the 5 freedoms. So you can compare how much freedom each exit option gives you. We're posting a link to the Rating Your Exit Options scorecard in the chat, and we're also posting a link to episode 11. And remember, if you're watching this episode later, the links are in the description section of this video. The third of five things you've got to know to exit your business successfully are the three plans to bridge three gaps. You need a plan for life after owning and operating your business, what you'll do, and how you'll fund it. Going from owning and operating your business to not is one of the most jarring transitions a person can experience. 75% of business owners who sell profoundly regret the decision a year later. That's because they didn't have a plan for life after business. They thought going from working 80 hours a week to zero and from 0 days of vacation to 365 would be a nice change of pace. You can avoid being a statistic. You can avoid this regret by answering three questions. One, what's something meaningful I'll do with my time? That goes in your personal plan. Two, how much money do I need to fund the lifestyle I want? That goes in your financial plan. My friends at Bellwether Wealth have you covered on this. They'll help you calculate how much money you need for financial security after you've transferred your business. And they'll help you with what they call the 6 sides of the financial puzzle: cash flow planning, wealth protection, estate planning, charitable giving, portfolio management, and relationship management. I'm a big fan of paying people to do things for me. So I love Bellwether's promise to solve all 6 sides of the financial puzzle. They ask, why settle for one side when your wealth deserves a full solution? And then they promise, we align it all for you. Many of Bellwether's clients are business owners like you, and they've got clients in 40 states. It's easy to get a hold of them at the contact information on the screen, or just reply to one of the emails they've sent you about this webinar series. And then the third of 3 plans you need to bridge 3 gaps is your business plan. Your business plan tells you how much more you need to grow your business's profit and transferable value so you can sell it for the amount your financial plan says that you need. Your business plan bridges 3 gaps. One is the profit gap. If your business doesn't generate as much profit as best-in-class competitors in your industry, you have a profit gap. In this example on the slide, the business owner is leaving $1.7 million on the table every year. 2, the value gap. If your business doesn't have the same amounts of hidden value as best-in-class competitors in your industry, you have a value gap. On this slide, we're building on that same low-end annual profit of $2.5 million from the previous slide. And we're multiplying by the range of multiples for a company in this industry. You can see the resulting value gap is $11.6 million. And 3, the third gap is the wealth gap. If your business doesn't have enough value to sell for as much money as your financial plan says you need, you have a wealth gap. The fourth of 5 things you've got to know to exit your business successfully is the 4 hidden sources of business value. 80% of your business's value does not appear in your financial documents, like your P&L, your balance sheet, and your income statement. It's found in 4 hidden sources of value. 1, human capital. How your people's talent stacks up against best-in-class competitors and how likely they are to stay after you exit. 2, Social capital, the strength of your culture and the value of your brand compared with best-in-class competitors. 3, structural capital, how smoothly your processes and systems run your business and the value of your intellectual property compared with best-in-class competitors. And 4, customer capital, the strength of your relationships with your customers compared with best-in-class competitors. Ideally, it's hard for customers to leave you, and you're not dependent on a small number of them. Take a look at the slide on the screen if you're able to right now, so I can show you why these 4 hidden sources of value matter. If you were with us way back in episode 2, you remember this slide. Price equals profit times multiple. Profit is what buyers buy when you sell your business. As for the multiple, there's a range of multiples that depends on your industry. Let's say the range of multiples in your industry goes from 3 times profit to 6 times profit. You can't control the range of multiples. You can control where you fall in the range of multiples. How? By increasing your 4 hidden sources of value: human capital, social capital, structural capital, and customer capital. More human capital gets you a higher multiple. More social capital gets you a higher multiple. And the same is true for structural capital and customer capital. Good news, you already know how to increase these 4 capitals, these 4 hidden sources of value. They're just different names for the 3 dimensions of business growth we covered in the first 3 parts of this webinar series. Those 3 dimensions of business growth are: 1, creating predictable profit and cash flow growth. We covered that in episodes 2 through 4. 2, creating predictable, sustainable revenue growth. We covered that in episodes 5 through 7. And 3, creating predictable, transferable value. We covered that in episodes 8 through 10. So take a look at the chat. We're posting another link to our episode recordings archive, so you have it handy. And if you're watching this later, the link is in the video description. Let's dive into the 4 capitals. 4 sources of hidden value to review, starting with human capital. It's how your people's talent stacks up against best-in-class competitors and how likely they are to stay after you exit. You can increase your human capital with 3 of the 24 growth-driving objectives we learned in this series. From the profit dimension, you increase human capital with the effective senior leadership and productive and loyal people growth objectives. Then from the revenue dimension, you work on the people, hiring, and training objective. A note to those of you only able to listen to the webinar right now: I am actually reading from the slides right now, and this makes a lot more sense when you see it. So be sure to review the recording later, because I'm giving you a visual map of how everything you learned earlier in the series ties into the 4 sources of hidden value. So next up is social capital, the strength of your culture and the value of your brand compared with best-in-class competitors. From the profit dimension, we work on the strong margins growth driving objective. From the revenue dimension, we work on strategic culture. And from the value dimension, we work on strategic business story and strong brand. Structural capital is how smoothly your processes and systems run your business and the value of your intellectual property compared with best-in-class competitors. Structural capital takes 10 of our growth driving objectives to optimize. So settle in for a second while I read these to you. From the mention, we've got financial reporting processes, scalable sales process, and strong SOPs. From the revenue dimension, we've got strategic vision, planning, and execution, people, hiring, and training. That's an intentional repeat, as well as scalable marketing process, financial budget, forecast and actuals, and innovation creates an advantage. And then from the value dimension, we've got two more: accurate and credible financial reports and legal, IP, contracts, governance, and litigation. Finally, customer capital. That's the fourth of four hidden sources of value in your company. Now, I've hit you with a lot of detail in this last section, so let me just help you keep your eyes on the prize. Remember, understanding and maximizing these four hidden sources of value means buku bucks for you. It can mean the difference between a purchase offer coming in at 3 times profit versus 6 times profit. In the example I showed you earlier, that came out to an $11.6 million difference. So, customer capital. Strength of your relationships with your customers compared with best-in-class competitors. Ideally, it's hard for them to leave you, and you're not dependent on a small number of them. This time, it takes 9 of our 24 growth driving objectives to optimize customer capital. From the profit dimension, we have recurring revenue and high customer satisfaction. From the revenue dimension, we have large market size and unique products and services. And from the value dimension, we have high growth compared to market, large market share, broad customer base, defensible market, and strong brand. That last one is an intentional repeat. Coming into the home stretch here, we've arrived at the fifth of 5 things you've got to know to exit your business successfully and thus take care of the people that you care about. And those are the 5 stages of value maturity. Preparing to sell your business means taking whatever value you get from it and converting that into value someone else will want to buy. Along the way, your business moves through 5 stages of value maturity: identify, protect, build, harvest, and manage. 1, identify. A business valuation shows what buyers might be willing to pay for your business right now. It's important to start with facts because owners like you almost always overestimate their business's value. Good news, you've already got a business value estimate in hand if you've taken the 15-minute assessment I've been mentioning, well, for the past 14 episodes. That includes today's episode because I mentioned it at the start. And here I'm mentioning it just one last time. Friends, knowledge is power. Please empower yourself by taking the assessment and getting an estimate of the price you could get today for your business. When you do, you'll also learn about the higher price you could get after working on the 3 dimensions of business growth, which, as you just learned, is the same thing as increasing your 4 hidden sources of value. The second of the 5 stages of value maturity is protect. You protect the value you've built so far from risks in 3 areas: personal, financial, and business. Good news, you can take care of these risks with a well-written personal plan, a financial plan, and a business plan. The third of the 5 stages of value maturity is build. Now, there are 2 ways to build value in your company. That's because value, the purchase offer you'll get for your business, is simply your profit times your multiple. Profit goes up when you reduce expenses. The multiple goes up when you improve your human, social, structural, and customer capital. This is my area of specialty. You hire other people to help you, that is, with the protect stage. You hire me to help you with the build stage. The fourth of the 5 stages of value maturity is harvest. There are 10 ways to harvest the value you've built in your business. 4 involve transferring the company to insiders. 4 involve outsiders. Option 9 involves exiting day-to-day management of the company while retaining ownership of it as a cash flowing investment. And then option 10 is another of my specialties, which is to PE yourself. Grow your business dramatically like a private equity firm would while protecting your non-financial values like loyalty to employees and to your community. And the fifth of the 5 stages of value maturity is manage. What's the value of your business? You manage that with your business plan. How does its value fit into your personal finances? You manage that with your financial plan, hopefully with help from a high-powered financial advisor. And how does its value fit into the meaningful activities you'll do after your exit? You manage that with your personal plan. So, would you like help with this? I've got 2 options for you here, a free self-service option and a paid consultation. The self-service option is the one-page checklist that you see on the screen. And we're posting a link to it in the chat so you can download it. Our checklist starts with commit, because the first sale is to yourself. Commit to creating an immortal company. Next, assess. You'll need to assess, where is your business going? Where is your life going? What's the state of your personal plan? What's the state of your financial plan? And what's the state of your business plan? Next, reorganize. In business transformations, the treatment always involves changing who does what and how. You'll need to reorganize to 1, create predictable profit and cash flow growth, 2, create predictable, sustainable revenue growth, and 3, create predictable, transferable business value. And finally, enjoy the benefits. Own your results. What's in it for you? Fill in the blanks before you start working on the checklist so you can start with the end in mind. You might have noticed the steps in the checklist spell care. When you plan your exit from the business, you show you care about your family, your employees, your customers, your suppliers, and your community. If you'd like my one-on-one help, you can book a paid consultation. This 45-minute phone call will be like visiting a medical doctor. We'll start with assessments to find out what the real problem is. Next, I'll diagnose. I'll tell you what's wrong and what you need to do about it. I'll give you treatment options, ranging from the business equivalent of better diet and more exercise to the business equivalent of heart surgery. And further, like a medical doctor, I'll refer you to a specialist if I'm not the right person to help you. The options will be designed to get you benefits that you want to enjoy. The cost of the consultation is $99. To schedule your consultation, you can scan the QR code on the screen or go to tinyurl.com/exit planning consultation. That's with a capital E, a capital P, and a capital C. And as always, we're posting that link in the chat. And that is all for today. And that's all for our final episode of the series. One last time, we're doing extended Q&A. Reminder of how that's going to work. You type your question in the Q&A. We look at and answer the first one, pause to give you a chance to type out a follow-up question. I answer a follow-up question or 2, and then we move on to the next set of questions. So I'll take my sip of water, as I always have, and then we will get right to your questions.
John, I'd love to hear you talk about like a small town business owner.
Yeah,
Maybe the company is the backbone for the community, employs a lot of people in the
yeah,
town. It's a
yeah.
big responsibility that that owner carries.
Yes.
How, what does the exit planning process look like for them in particular?
Yeah. Main Street businesses are the beating heart of our economy. Look, Main Street business owners are the heroes of America. You look at all the government statistics, all the private think tank studies. It all goes back to all net new job creation, all economic development comes from Main Street businesses just like this. And so a properly planned exit really matters for a small town Main Street business. Getting expert help and getting confidential help matters a lot, right? That's why you call upon Bellwether Wealth to confidentially help you with the financial plan. You call upon me to confidentially help you with the business plan. In the early stages, we do want to avoid spooking your employees, spooking your fellow business owners on Main Street, spooking your suppliers and your customers. And engaging an expert who knows how to do it right is the way to do it properly. Avoid spooking people early on, and then inform them of the change that's coming at the appropriate times in the appropriate order.
We've had some clients who have successfully sold businesses actually. And one of the things that I've noticed for all of them is they've had a trusted person that they employ that
Yeah.
is able to assist them in this process. It's usually someone like in an accounting type role,
Yes. Yep.
who's able to get the necessary, P&L balance sheet, run the reports, and then yeah, but that's a highly trusted person, because in those very early stages, um, you know, there's more questions than there are answers, and so you don't want that getting out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is essential to have that trusted internal resource because due diligence, there's is going to be a heavy lift, right? It can be a less heavy lift the longer you deliberately prepare for it by, as we talked about in this webinar series, driving your business like you're gonna sell it. And it's still going to be a heavy lift. And what we don't want you, the business owner, to do is we don't want you to take your foot off the gas pedal of growing your business because due diligence is going to take a period of time during which the purchaser wants to see past performance and current performance continuing. And we don't want a drop off in business performance because you've been doing all the form filling out and data gathering yourself. You need a trusted internal person to do that. If you don't have that, though, there is hope in that you can hire an external CPA firm, you can hire a fractional CFO from a fractional CFO service like CFO Systems or Focus CFO, Tarsus CFO, a number of different options. There are there are experienced expert professionals for every part of the exit planning team. There's there's so many great ones out there that like your trouble won't be finding one, your trouble will be narrowing down the list of people who can help you.
So let's say you've gone through, well, no, let's not say, maybe you haven't gone through due diligence yet in this process, but let's say, you need to announce to your company, to your clients, that there's going to be a transition underway.
Yeah.
How how do you suggest breaking that news without causing people to jump ship or panic, basically?
This requires careful planning. Um, I talked earlier about human capital, and I said it's the talent of your team and the likelihood that they're going to stay post transition, right? So, for the sake of your baby continuing on in immortality, you want to make sure that the essential employees do stay. And so, compensation consultants can help you with the precise details of how to provide stay bonuses, profit sharing, incentive plans, and so forth that make the team excited about continuing with the company under new ownership. Now, you can also influence their excitement level and get yourself a higher purchase offer by doing a good job of painting your vision of the exciting future of this company under new owners. Kim, took this business this far. I believe that with the different energy, maybe the additional financial resources that our purchaser Clark is bringing to the table, I believe that the future is bright ahead of this company. And so I would like you to stick around because I want to watch from the sidelines as you continue to take this company that we created together on to new and greater heights with me out of the owner seat.
Can you talk about working with a business broker? What does that process look like? How do you find a good business broker? What do you need to keep in mind when you're looking for someone?
There are good business brokers out there. In my experience and that of business owners I've advised, good business brokers are rare. They can be found. It's not as easy as finding a good member of your exit planning team, such as you know um, uh, uh, an exit planning certified accountant or an exit planning certified chief financial officer or fractional integrator or fractional second in command. Not as easy. Um, what you're looking for with business brokers is somebody who is not a dabbler. Unfortunately, because of the low barrier to entry in business brokering, there's a bunch of dabblers out there who don't have the experience and don't have the focus to focus on business brokering. They're doing they're doing commercial or residential real estate on the side. They're doing other things and they're kind of like doing brokering as a side hustle. Friends, you do not want your financial security and you do not want the futures of your family, your employees, your customers, your suppliers, your community in the hands of somebody who is dabbling in a side hustle. So find somebody who's experienced and good at it. Um, Start your search with my friend Jeff Herdzina and get a few other recommendations from me, from him, and from others. Business brokers, I'll say one more thing about business brokers. Business brokers are generally the professionals that you use when you've got a lower value business, right? Something that's going to sell in the $1 to $2 to $3 million range. Um, M&A advisors start off at the higher sale values. And generally, M&A advisors are parts of large firms, and you find fewer, if any, dabblers at that end of the market.
I don't
What
see
else you
any.
got for me? What else do we have?
Well, I don't see any other questions, and I can't think of any.
All right. Well, Kim, it's been a lot of fun doing this series with you and friends, our loyal attendees. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking with us all the way since last year. Kim, I think we started this in October, did we? Here it is.
Yeah, I think so. That seems like so long
Here,
ago, doesn't it?
here it is, knocking on the door of February. Man, let me just leave you with this. You can create an immortal company. That baby that you birthed and that you've grown for the last 10, 15, 20, 40 years can go on to new and greater things if you will just follow the care process, commit to creating an immortal company, assess where your plans are, reorganize the company to increase its value, and then enjoy the benefits that will come to you and enjoy seeing the benefits that will come to the people that you care about, your family, your employees, your customers, your suppliers, your community. Be well and give me a call if I can be of any further help. Bye now.